Reclaiming Timeless Ways, another episode underway. Mike Traster, Simon Fuller, glad to have you along with us. And Mike, as always, we're going into the depths of up here. And what are we talking about in this episode?
There's no one home. No. Platitudes and absolutes.
Okay.
So I'm going to start off with the one that kind of sticks in my craw,
Okay.
among others. But I think this is the perfect example of something that's sometimes true, but that doesn't make it truth, right?
Okay.
You get what you pay for.
Okay.
It's just sometimes true, and sometimes it's an absolute load of crap.
I would agree.
Right? So I came up with it. I pulled over the side of the road one day, and there was an extremely expensive tool laying on the side of the highway. I'm like, there's no one here. It's just in the gravel on the side of the road. It's a gift, right? So I took it, and it's fine. So it became mine. And another day, I think I was at a yard sale, and there was a Vaughan hammer. This is like 20 years ago. It was like $25 hammer. It was $1. It's like, seriously? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
They consciously priced it, and I accepted the price and got this wonderful hammer. So I didn't get what I paid for. I got a lot more.
Right.
Sometimes you pay for something and you get a lot less.
Right.
So,
And sometimes you buy something with that in mind, but that doesn't mean it's the final value of that item.
no.
I think the first person that popped into my head as you're chatting is my father-in-law and you, and we've done a lot of stories.
Right.
And I would consider you both men who can see the potential beyond what's there.
Okay.
With a little hard work skill, a little sanding, a little glue, a little nail, a little whatever it is, you refine it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean it's the final value of.
No.
So yeah, maybe I meant to get what I paid for there,
Yeah.
but I'm going to
Use it more.
continue to use it and get use out of it. So is not that the true then value of it, the usefulness of it?
It's unfolding.
Right. And sometimes you buy something that just you sit and look at when you're getting really no value out of it. What's
Right.
it doing for you there hanging on a wall,
Yeah.
that high dollar painting? Well, you got what you paid for, but what
Right.
true value is that?
Right.
I mean, you can go down a lot of little rabbit holes on that.
Yeah, there was a fella in town. I bought 2 paintings. They were from Indonesia. Little hand-painted, nice paintings. But I never could find a place. And Carl was his name. His father owned an electric motor company here in town. And they're all gone now. But I was listening to him talk about his Navy experiences one day in the Far East. And I thought, these are for him, you know? So I gave them to him.
Sure.
Didn't miss them, no. Hopefully so my saying, instead of you get what you pay for, is you get what you get.
Yeah.
You never know what that's going to be,
Sure.
you know? All lawyers are crooks. There are some crooked lawyers out there.
Yeah.
And most lawyers know, if not all, that there are some crooked lawyers. Certainly the crooked ones know they're crooked, right?
They're the first to say I'm not.
Huh?
They're the
Yeah,
first.
right. Yeah. Let me tell you, all nurses are angels of mercy. What was it? The Gong Show where the buzzer came out and the cane, right?
There's some great people in the nursing, that industry or the
Right.
educational
Right.
industry.
Right.
You say,
Right.
well, you must be a saint to be a
Right.
teacher
Right,
or a
right,
nurse
right,
or
right. Yeah, let me tell you
all
how
the
perfect
lawyer
I am.
jokes and the stigma that comes with that.
Right.
But both of those
Right.
are inaccurate. There are some really
course.
poor people
Ooh.
in both fields,
Yeah.
and there are some very good people in both fields.
Absolutely. All scientists are boring.
Right? Not at all true.
Wow. Some guy's an astrophysicist, and he's like, you cannot even begin to believe what's out there.
Yeah.
And he has figured out a way to develop the language part of his brain as well as the computational part, so he can look and understand. There's a star or two out there that are 1,000,000 times the volume of our sun,
Right.
which is 1.2 million times the volume of the Earth.
Ooh.
Right? Right.
Yeah, can't even wrap around that,
No,
really.
so that means that star is 1 trillion times approximately the size of the Earth, and you're like, I'm sorry,
Right,
I
right.
can't do that, right? So, I've talked to some scientists, some doctors, some physicists, and other people who are just like inspired, and they can share their inspiration. They're not boring
Right.
by definition, right? So you got to find the individual. Beautiful people are always more virtuous. It's insane.
Right.
Right? It's like they look virtuous
Sure.
because we have an image of what virtue looks like.
Sure.
But you have to find out who that person is
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
find out who they are.
Right.
All pastors have faith. Ooh. I have seen some pastors who are in some of them are in a permanent faith crisis,
Yeah.
or worse,
Yeah.
right? All bikers are dangerous. I imagine most of them are tough,
Sure.
but there's a difference between being tough and having a mean intention.
Sure.
in life,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
So you might not want to come up to them and kick them while they're parked, at the red light.
Right.
But that's different than having malice in their heart.
Right.
Right. All doctors are quacks. Well, my image always is the Marx Brothers mimicking doctors, but some doctors are quacks.
Sure.
But some doctors are deeply committed and inspired.
Right.
They love what they do. They can't imagine doing anything else.
Right.
It was like God said, be a doctor
Yeah.
and be a servant and be good. You're going to get rewarded, but this is going to be hard work, and
Yeah.
you can't do anything else. The customer is always right.
In fact, that's rarely the truth.
Okay, there you go. Right? All dentists cause pain.
Right.
Some dentists cause quite a bit of pain.
And I would even argue I caused my own pain. They just had to fix it.
There you go. Right.
I'll take some accountability there, Mike.
Yeah. Well dressed equals trustworthiness.
Right.
No, it just means you're well dressed, or
Kinda-
not.
And in some cases, a lot of that one reminded me back to our masks show,
Yes.
where oftentimes that can be hiding how we feel inside, or we can be using that to overcompensate and not be at all who we are.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there's a lot of conceptual bridges. All cops are pigs. Just so not true.
No.
There are some cops who are wonderful.
Yeah.
Who are real servants, who are brave, and who are there to keep other human beings secure.
Yeah.
And they put their ass on the line often,
Yep.
every day. Natural cures are always better. You do what does the most good and the least harm.
Yeah.
And that might not be a natural cure, I think about, the statistics. Was it 40 years ago, I think childhood leukemia was 80 or 85% fatal. Now I think it's 85% curable.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Right.
And that hasn't been that long ago.
No, and it's like, wow, so God put this brilliant spark in some scientists to find answers to very, very difficult problems, So, anyway, that's that one. I don't know if you have any platitudes you want to add to the pile.
No, it's funny though, because I know there are more,
Right.
but it is interesting when you sit back and just think of each of those. Truly think, break it down.
Right.
As you're saying them, I've used many of those, or some
Right.
of those, not many,
Right.
but I've used those or heard those in everyday conversations and language, and you really break that down, and you're like, that's ridiculous.
Right.
They're more ridiculous than they are truth.
I think that's
Absolutely.
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fair. So I think that covers platitudes pretty
All right.
well.
Just kind of an interesting little side fun show we did.
Yeah.
Just interesting. Again, Mike, I swear, you just sit there and observe stuff,
Right.
and you jot stuff down, and in some way, shape, or form, it makes it into. It's kind of like a version of Seinfeld. Mike's taking life, and we're talking about it. Maybe we're not as humorous. I love that show. What I love about that show is they're trying to bring in everyday stuff
Right.
and then they may bring humor to it.
A lot of humor, right.
And these are just Mike's observations, kind of some interesting ones. We hope you enjoyed them, and of course, always encourage you to subscribe and share with others this YouTube channel. So
The one point I would add to this is
Yep.
there's a lot of emotional impact that's culturally implied on these statements.
sure,
So when somebody uses one of these statements, you're being leveraged, which means you're being bullied into submission, to
Sure.
a submissive state. You can step back in your mind and say, wait a minute, they're stating this as a truth. Does that mean it's true?
Right.
Or am I being maneuvered? If you're being maneuvered, you can say, you know what? That's a platitude. It's true some of the time, but I absolutely do not accept that as a truism.
as an
You're
absolute
going to have
right.
to do better.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So,
And we should always be aspiring to do better.
yeah.
Perfect. Interesting take on that.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for another edition of Reclaiming Timeless Ways. Until next time, have a great day.